Hello, welcome to Karmada community meeting. Today is September 3rd, 2024. I remember we have quite a lot topics today. I'm sorry, I can't open the meeting notes right now. I remember Jade, can you share your screen and get started?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh, right now. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we can start with this one.
Yeah.
Let me bring up this one. Honkai, thanks for your comments on this one. I think they're all sensible. And I aim to adjust them after we're done going through this. But this proposal, this is to enhance the configuration of the Karmada CR for the Karmada operator so that when connecting to an external HCD cluster, that the credentials for that cluster can be loaded from Kubernetes secret. Now, initially, when I first started looking into this, I POC'd with Kine and use N-cluster etcd. And then when I started exploring how to connect to external etcd, given that I noticed that there's some preliminary work that was done for connecting to external etcd clusters, I thought that this was already supported. But then when I started digging more into the code, I realized that it's not supported. So this will extend the configuration so that it's possible to connect to external etcd cluster with credentials loaded from a secret, and we'll also add support for actually connecting to external etcd clusters. So this is this proposal. So yeah, in the external etcd configuration, we'll just have this new optional field to load the secret, and the secret should have an expected structure, so it should have the CA cert, the client certificate, and then the client private key. So that's this proposal. And in terms of comments, if I go back, yeah, I think we can move this to a subdirectory, right, for all operator proposals. Yeah, so I can move this. So I can create a new subdirectory here and then move it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the fields, I can bring this up real quick, actually. Yeah. So let me, 1 second. External, CD. Yeah, so these fields as of today are not used. These fields, given that they are not used, I think we can just consider them deprecated once this change goes in.
Yeah,
they are here today, but they are not used.
We should do that.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the field list there, but not we don't support. But thanks for the reminder. You mentioned that will bring security concerns. So
Yeah.
I guess we better to deprecate the yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, as part of this PR, then I can just mark them as deprecated.
Okay.
This is this proposal. Let me just double check. So yeah. Okay, so I'll make the changes accordingly, and then once this goes in, then I'll send in the PR to implement this. This
Okay.
is
So
okay.
we just need to move the proposal to another directory so we can
Yeah,
merge this. Yeah, right. Okay. Thank you.
yeah. So I'll do that. Okay, so that's the first proposal I have. The other one is this one. Um, and again, thanks for your comments on this one. I think they're all sensible. So first I'll go through this. This is to add support for having the ability to specify extra volumes and volume mounts for what I initially frame as all control plane components. Um, and the motive behind this is to unlock some use cases. So today, for these components, you have the ability to specify extra args if needed, but there's no
Mm-hmm.
support for extra volumes and extra volume mounts. And having support for also specifying extra volumes and volume mounts will unlock some use cases that we have. So one of the comments we had is if I can specify exactly what those use cases are. Right now, there's two we
Mm-hmm.
have, and moving forward, we probably will have other ones. So one is actually for having the ability to configure encryption at rest. So if you want to configure encryption at rest, then that will be, well, you need first encryption config, then you'll probably put that in a secret, then use that secret as the volume source in your pad, and then mount that volume into the container, and then finally use an extra arc to say, hey, this is the path to my encryption config. So how this will unlock this use case. Another use case is for configuring a custom authentication webhook. So at Bloomberg, we have a custom authentication webhook that is integrated with our internal systems. And for managed Karmada control planes, we would like to configure that. And again, given that we already have the ability to specify extra args with extra volumes and volume mounts, that will also unlock that use case. We'll just have web authentication webhook config, put that in a secret config map, and use that as a volume source, and then mount it into the container. And then with extra args, which all you have support for, just say, hey, and put in the flags for actually configuring um, custom authentication webhooks. So this is this proposal.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you had a couple comments. So the first one was for being more clear about which use cases we would like to use this for. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the ones I just mentioned. You also had a comment regarding whether or not we can scope this to a particular component.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a sensible comment, right? For the use cases we have today, we only need this for the API server. So for now, we can just add this for the API server component.
Okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, in terms of, yeah, there are many different volume sources like config map, secret, and recently, I think in latest version of Kubernetes now, There's also other types that are supported. But I think keeping this generic, there's no downside to it, right? Maybe someone wants to use like for instance, for configuring off-end webhook, you can just put that config in a config map since there's no secrets. But for encryption at rest, that config will have to come from a secret. So this will unlock both use cases.
I'm not sure if we need to support if we want to support more volume source types. Do we need more code or something?
I don't think so. So today, this this will unlock the ability to specify these, but they also have to make sense, right? Like for instance, if I specify a volume, but then I don't mount it into the container, then that makes no sense, right? So having the combination of specifying volumes, volume mounts, and extra args in tandem will unlock some use cases and make sense. So yeah, this will just unlock some use cases, but it does not dictate exactly what you can configure with them. It'll be up to you to configure this based on requirements.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. So that's this proposal. And then I have one last one. So this one. Well, this one is more straightforward, so I don't have a proposal for it. I just open up an issue. But at Bloomberg, we were building a managed platform on top of Karmada, and aim obviously to use the operator to provision manage Karmada control planes. And when provisioning a control plane per some of our use cases, we have tenants who want for the scheduler estimator to be enabled. And when that is the case, we will have some higher level operator that will, for each registered cluster, dynamically provision a scheduler estimator instance. Today, as is, those scheduler estimator instances can only run in the Karmada system namespace. And the scheduler will then try to discover services in front of those instances in Karmada system namespace. For managed Karmada that we're building, we would like to keep scheduler estimator instances scope to the tenancy's namespace as to not pollute the Karmada system namespace. So this is why I opened this one up. So in terms of implementation, let me just quickly go through this. Why is this not opening up? Yeah, so today there is a flag to configure the scheduler estimator service instance, which is important for how the scheduler will discover scheduler estimator instance services. For what I'm envisioning, we can just add a new flag. So scheduler we can just add a new flag to configure the namespace so that the scheduler will know which namespace to discover those services from. So when we provision a tenancy, the scheduler will be running in some namespace on our host or management cluster. In that same namespace, we will also run the scheduler estimate instances. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this proposal is totally makes sense to me.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So my plan, I already looked into how to, let me go back. I already looked into how to implement this. So my plan was to send a PR once this is acknowledged. But I noticed that someone else assign? So should I still, I would like to send the PR, so should I still just send the PR in?
I don't know what he mean with the assign. I don't know if maybe we can ask him in the issue on the issue.
Okay, but he's one of the maintainers, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
he's from one of in the user
User group?
actually, yeah. We can just ask if he would like to send the PR or something.
Okay. Um, yeah, my initial plan was to just send this. I already looked into what changes are necessary, so I was gonna send the PR.
Mm.
Okay, then I'll just coordinate with him on this issue, um, so that we can figure out who will do it.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the three proposals I had. Again, thanks for
Mm.
reviewing them and for providing constructive feedback. I really appreciate it. This is all I have, so I'll stop sharing. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Um, the next one is Mihaj.
Hi, how are you?
I feel sorry for I kind of very busy last month, so I didn't pay
Yeah.
much time on your proposal. So
Oh, no need to be sorry at all. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it doesn't slip through the cracks. So I think in terms of the failover history, PR, that to my knowledge is done. And then just
mm,
pending like a final review.
mhm,
Um, so I guess we'll wait for any feedback on that. I
mm,
remember I think a month ago when we last met, it was mentioned that this PR will probably be included in the 1.11 release, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know what the
no,
timeline for that is?
I'm sorry we didn't make it for because the 1.11 just released the last week.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But I think I will definitely I will pay more attention on this proposal, and let's try to finish it at 1.12.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mm.
Yeah, so I think that the only sort of blocker for this ticket currently is an integration test that I think was included that is currently failing. And then I think it just needs to be rebased against master. So
Mhm.
again, this is kind of just like the first phase of the failover history story. And this is mostly just adding in information as to which cluster the replicas have failed over from. And that's helping us in terms of also filtering out clusters to which Karmada will schedule the failed over application to. And then it also
Mhm.
helps us in terms of our stateful application um, so that it knows that it has failed over and can restart from its previous state. So yeah, if we could get a review on this, that would be great.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I could work on that because I am working on enhancement of test coverage. I am new to the community and I am an LFX mentee in this term, so I could work on it if you say.
You mean in terms of reviewing or?
No, actually, I am getting my hands on to adding a test for the Karmada. I am working on the project of enhancement of test coverage. for scheduler and controller. So I think I could work on.
So are you the mentee from the dashboard, right?
Yeah, I am the mentee from the LFX.
Okay, but the mentor didn't present at the meeting. So
Actually, I was waiting for the meeting, so I just joined.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think regardless, given that the actual unit testing is a separate blocker from what's being implemented, we can also just remove that for now to prevent the failing tests. And yeah, in terms of the actual implementation, Hongkai, if you have any comments, that would be great. The only other PR we have open that's kind of waiting for review is the federated resource quota. So we'd added in like the default behavior for that, which it's basically just gating the resource usage on the Karmada control plane side. If I know, I think the last time we spoke, that was less of a priority, I think, given the other kind of issues that are open. But given that it was needed for our use case, I opened up the PR anyway. So that's also sitting in review, if you could take a look. But yeah, the failover history, I think, is higher priority. So if we could get that merged in, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah, maybe if you can just add a comment on how we want to handle the integration test, I can resolve that accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we don't have any other topics. So
Hongkai, I do have one question. This is something I'm curious about. So for the Karmada operator, is adding automated cert renewal part of the roadmap?
Sorry?
Initially, so for the Karmada operator, I'm curious to know if adding automated certificate renewal or rotation, something that someone on the team has started looking into.
No, we are thinking, also thinking how to do that, but no, for now, no, not yet.
Okay.
Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I have some ideas. For now, I want to finish my ongoing proposals. And once that's done, if no one else has tackled it, then I do have some ideas, so I can put in a proposal for that. I looked at some existing issues. I noticed that there was an issue for related work, but that was for adding cert renewal for the Helm chart. And I think the idea was to integrate with Cert Manager to do that. But last time I looked at this issue or work in progress, it looked like the person abandoned it because of something that happened. But even if that went through, it would only be for the Helm chart, not the Karmada operator. For the operator, it's code, so there's a lot of different ways it can be implemented.
Yeah, I remember when I invested Flink Flink operator, I guess. The Flink operator also integrates the set manager. I don't know if it's the best practice for operator.
So I have some ideas. Like for instance, there's also prior work where things like this are already done, so we can draw some inspiration from prior work. But for cert renewal, at a very high level, we can just so the pods would have to be, well, the deployments for the components would have to be rolled out when cert is renewed. So at the most fundamental level, usually we can just get a hash of the cert so that pods are automatically, so that deployments for control plane components are automatically rolled out when the certs are rotated. So there's many different ways it can be done. So once I'm done with these proposals, if no one else has tackled this, then I can put in a proposal for it.
Okay, thank you. Great. I'm looking forward to your proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, we really need it because a lot of Karmada user ask me how to renew their certificates because they have been using Karmada for about 1 year or 2 years. So they really need a practice to renew their deployments. Yeah.
Yeah. Today, by default, the validity period for the certs is just 1 year. So after 1 year, things will just break.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thanks, everyone.
thank you. Bye.
Later.